Late night brew again. Homebrew Wednesday on a Sunday. No, it ain't yet. Tomorrow's Sunday. Today's still Saturday. But Sunday's ballsed up. That's why I was thinking Sunday. So I shan't be brewing Sunday. So I'm chucking another quick one in. It's a kit. It's one of these 4 kilo liquid malt extract in a bag. There's the bag, look. Yeah, you get liquid malt extract in a colostomy bag. You pour the shit into the tank, then you rinse it out so it looks like a urine sample. You add that in. It's really simple. It's one of the Bulldog premium kits. Triple Tykes one, I think. Specially made yeast to cope with the extra malt, so they say on the website. Picked this one up as a freebie from work several months ago. And I thought, bugger it, I'll chuck it in. Can't be any quicker and easier than this. You ain't got to mess about with dried malt extract, sugar. Chuck the malt in, chuck the water in, make sure it's the right temp, chuck the yeast in, fit lid, fit airlock, job done. So, just rinsing out the last dregs in the bag to go in. Then we've got to stir the old liquid malt extract in and dissolve it down. You know the score. I'll do a grav reading. Doesn't say you have to, it's optional equipment. You get a little hot tea bag with this one as well. You can boil it up in a cup, chuck the whole lot in, including the tea bag in at the start now. Didn't opt for that because obviously with it fermenting, the CO2 is going to strip a lot of the flavours out. And obviously it's not going to add anything bitterness wise. They do suggest you can draw 3 litres of the malt off, add it to some water, add the hot tea bag and boil it for 30 minutes. Give you extra bittering. Less flavour, chuck that in, pitch the yeast, do it that way, or leave it sort of halfway, 4 or 5 days in to the fermentation, do the hot tea again, just add it to the fermenter during the final fermentation stage, which is what I'm going to do. I think I did have this from, I think it was Grant, P11 1983, quite a while ago. He sent me a bottle of his Triple Tykes down, and I don't think he'd done anything to it. He'd brewed it as a straight kit, I think, and it was okay. It weren't, you know, it was still a kit beer, you could tell. So I'm going to do the same. I'm not going to mess about with it. I may add extra hops at the same stage as the other one just to give it some more flavour, but we'll see. But anyway, quick brew. Right, just in the process of dissolving it down and liquefying it all and bringing the volume up and trying to keep the temperature so I haven't got to mess about. Should be ready straight pitch in. It's one of the first kits I've actually smelt hops on. It doesn't just smell malty or kitty-fied, it does actually smell like there's some hops in there. So we'll see what it comes out like anyway. Well, she's pitched. So we just got to wait and see what happens. Now, this one kicked off within 8 hours. It was a packet and a half of yeast. I used the Wilco's Girvan 11 gram pack plus the Muntons yeast pack that came with it. Well, I'll never get to use the yeast anyway, probably. I think I've even still got some kicking about. And with it being 1080, it won't hurt to pitch it slightly high on the yeast can. Well, finally I get to brew, but all did not bode well. The brew you've just seen footage of, you know, the one with the big packet of specially formulated yeast designed to munch its way through a 4 kilo liquid malt extract kit. That was filmed Saturday evening. Sunday morning, no sign of life. Sunday night, no sign of life. So I decided that I'd put my heater tube, which you've seen in the previous video, because the other one was quite happily fermenting away. That was a 10 litre version of the Wilco Pilsner kit. Short brewed to 10 litres, and I put 500 grams of dry malt extract, 500 grams of sugar, and 50 grams of crystal, 100 grams of Munich malt. I used a Wilco's 11g packet of yeast, and I chucked in the kit yeast because it came out at about 1082. I haven't uploaded the video of this yet. And I pitched that because again that was hot time I'd finished, because obviously 10 litres is not obviously a lot of water to be added to cool it down. So that was about 2 o'clock in the morning by the time it was at pitching temp, and I chucked the yeast in at about 2ish, maybe a little bit later in the morning. I got up and came in here, I think it was 8:30 the same morning, and it was blubbing away quite happily. Being there's no heat in here, and I think it's currently 16, 17 degrees in here. The other one was no sign of life, so I put my heater tube between the two, but I think it was giving me a false reading because obviously the heat radiating was heating the little LCD strip, not necessarily the liquid inside the fermenter. So it may have been a duff yeast because the pack has just gone out of date, or it was too cold. I chucked another 11g yeast pack in. I came home Monday night and absolutely nothing. So I opened the lid and there was absolutely no sign whatsoever of any hint of a start of activity. So I dug out my old trusty heater plate, plugged that in and checked the fermenter on top of that. Lo and behold, I come home today, or this morning, before I went to work. So overnight it had started. So it seems to have been temperature related. It was sitting at 18, 16, 18, no activity, although the yeast should still work at that, but I mean absolutely no activity. It's now currently 22 to 26 on the heater plate, so I just randomly unplugged the heater plate just to keep it so it doesn't go up too high. I think with the ambient temperature I'm not going to get into the 28s, but at the minute anyway. Once the heating's on, then obviously I won't need it, but yeah, still got a friggin' little fruit fly. Anyway, let's get the beer. Talking of beer and bottles and things. Ooh. This is Frank's. Frank's chocolate porter. Well, she's fizzling away, man. Wasn't a huge hiss. The bottle had gone hard. I know you said it seems to have lost its smokiness. Now I've got a sneaking suspicion this is going to do a bit like my other beers, and that head's going to disappear like Coke. You can almost tell by the sound that head's going to die, which could be the malts not maintaining. There's not enough protein. Doesn't. To me, it's partially cosmetic. Really, depends on the beer style. But I mean, little lamps down here. It's not. Yeah, it's not completely dark. There is brown. You can only just get the light through it. There's a good stream of carbonation coming up through there. I don't know whether I've got the old Torchy the battery boy. I don't know whether it'll show on camera. Not yet. But it is to me. You can see there's a good stream of carb coming up there. But yeah, bottle wise, strange smell. So it must be the smoke I can smell out the bottle. There's not a lot of roasty malt aroma. A little bit of astringency. See, the smoke malt has faded. You get a little back note of it, just a tang. It's almost a slight oily texture to it. The smoke is coming through. It tastes a little bit woody, which is from the smoke. I mean, not having tried, I know this was your own version of the Alaskan Porter recipe I sent you. But yeah, the other smoked beers I have tasted are smoked beers. They're not a little hint of smoke in the background, they are full on. But it's got the porter characteristics, it's got that bitterness to it with a porter. But instead of sort of licorice notes coming through and stuff like that, you're getting a malty smokiness. If anyone's tried Austrian smoked cheese in those little sort of sausage sticks, it's not as prominent as that. But there is a little bit, there's a little bit of harshness with it. Whether it's coming from the grain, over sparging, you've done your second runnings down too low and it's brought a little bit of tannin through. Because there is a little bit of that sort of tasting. Very much in the back, but yeah, room for improvement, but it is porter-esque. But with a smoky, very back note to it. Probably someone who's not used to more smokiness would find it more obvious. But yeah, if you were looking for something like the Schenkerla, obviously that's a full-on smoke. This is supposed to just obviously have a background taste. So we'll have to find you a Schenkerla Marzen recipe. But yeah, it's okay, I can taste it. I can taste the smoke. But obviously, I don't know how high a level you was aiming for. I know you increased the amount of Welsh malt in it. But it's okay. There's a little bit of sweetness to it now. I've got used to it. Even though I said at first it's astringent. I think it's that grain. There's a little granular taste coming through. But carbonation is okay. Head retention though. There's a slightly fruit coming through, almost like slightly cidery. Not in a bad way, just in flavour, not as in a fault that a beer's gone off and tastes cidery. I can't remember what hops it was in it. You did write me a little note here. Where are we? Welsh malt flaked oats, which should have given you the head retention. 250 grams. Maybe it needs more. Crystal malt 120, chocolate malt, Carahell's black pattern malt. 35 grams East Kent Goldens, 35 grams East Kent Goldens in the last 10 minutes. Is it? It's definitely a sort of fruity note to it as well. But last week I was on holiday, not everything went according to plan, which I kind of get used to it, so I don't expect anything other than that, you know. But I did have time to rummage around in my big shed with all my bottles. The first week, and I've got quite a few bottles. I actually stopped counting with the bottles I got in there and the ones I have in here, not including the ones that have got my cider and my smash beer. The empties and the full ones, I stopped counting when I got to 600. But I went to work yesterday, being Monday, was doing my bits, checking in some goods in. then the boss's wife is there going through our out of date stock, which they put online at a discount price, and obviously not all of it sells. Some of it is returned orders that's gone out of date by the time it's all processed, all the argument with suppliers such like. So over the course of time you do end up with a few strays. Normally these strays do tend to sit around for quite some time, and they get probably to the point where we wouldn't be able to retail them. So eventually, I mean, one of the first jobs I had 2.5–3 years ago when I started there was taking 2 trolleyfuls of beer, cases and cases of Belgian beers, and cracking the tops off, shoving them down a manhole cover and draining loads of beer. But this time I done my bit for Bearkind as a charitable event. I saved many beers from a dreadful, drainful end and gave them a generous new home, which was quite good, because there were several gift packs that had gone out of date from previous Christmas gift packs. Unfortunately, they usually come with a beer, say like, I think it was Valdu Triple and the brown ale and a glass. Now unfortunately I didn't manage to pick up umpteen packets of glasses, although I did drop a subtle hint and she did say, well, you can have one. So I did pick myself up the Christmas Swine Wise, is it? I don't know, I can't see. Needs another wash. Anyway, the glass, it comes in a nice little blue box with 2 bottles of waste beer. Guess who got the waste beer? Right, well anyway, I'll play you out with a little short footage. We'll speed it up Grant Baker style to last night's emptying of my car and bringing it into what's now known as the refuge for unwanted beers. See you next week.